Hello, welcome everyone. I hope you are enjoying your weekend. So we are delighted to have participants from. Okay, so I can hear myself here. So let me just mute here. Okay, so we are delighted to have participants from a different part of the world where you are joining us live or watching this later. Thank you for being with us for another section of the Spiritism Talk series promoted by the United States Spiritist Federation, held every Saturday at 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. It is my pleasure to host today talk presented by Joyce Magalhães, who will be speaking on a very important topic. Let me bring Joyce here so she can say hi to us. Hey, Joyce,
Hi,
welcome.
thank you for having me.
And Joyce will speak about the Spiritist view on motherhood. Very appropriate for this weekend, right, Joyce?
Yes.
So before I pass the word to Joyce, let me, just give a little background about Joyce so you guys can know where she's coming from. Let me get your bio here, Joyce. So Joyce Magalhães, she's a physician and an anesthesiologist in Canada. She studied Spiritism for the last 20 years, being an active worker on the Spirit Center, mainly involved with spiritual education for children. She's currently a member of the Toronto Spiritist Society. So I guess you have a lot of experience regard to this topic today, right, Joyce?
Yes.
So without any further ado, I will pass, the floor to Joyce. Joyce,
Thank you very much for the opportunity of being here again. It's been a while since I was here last time, and it's always a pleasure to be able to share a little bit with everyone about what I studied, also a little bit about my experience, especially today that my topic is about the Spiritist view on motherhood. And I'm also blessed to be a mother of three. So I have one son and two daughters. So I can tell a little bit also about my experience as a mom. And I'm pretty sure that everyone in the audience that are moms here, they will also share with me this feeling and understanding about how blessing it is to have this opportunity to raise kids, to love and to care. I used to say that I see motherhood as a beautiful mission, no question about it, but also an incredible gift that we receive from God as an incredible opportunity to really practice the true love. You know, that love that Jesus teach us, like in his message and also during his time here on earth, he was able to show us in real life, in practice, that this is possible because was exactly what he did all the time with everyone. Like the true love, the love that does not ask anything back, the love that does not have any selfish behind it, the pure and essential love. Jesus was able to show that to us. Obviously, we are so far away from Jesus' level, right? We are still in the pathway to learn and to evolve to reach that stage of evolution. But I see motherhood as an incredible opportunity, at least to get a little close to the understanding of what that true love means. I see that at our stage of evolution, uh, I believe that only towards our kids, our children, we are really able to practice that love that was teaching by Jesus and that is present in all uh, teachings and messages that Jesus left to us. a love that does not request anything back, a love that is always present in any circumstance. As mom, we can tell that we have a very different way to see our kids compared to the way we see everyone around us. We are able to forgive no matter what our kids do to us. And we have, like, we see many instances and circumstances of very challenging stories and moments that some moms go through, but they are still able to forgive their kids. And that love that they feel does not change, even when they have the challenging to have kids that are very problematic and comes with lots of troubles, and sometimes that is part of the trial, right, that they sign up for this life, but they are still able to put all that behind and able to have a better understanding and able to forgive, exactly like Jesus did. If we go back on the time of Jesus, and now when we read and we study about many passages, look at all that was done to Jesus. And he was still able to look into everyone's eyes. He was able to see everyone from inside. He was able to see on every single person that evil is not a complete essence of any human being, any individual, any spirit. No matter how evil someone is, there is always a seed of love inside their heart. And that's what made Jesus always love everyone. From the worst criminals to the best person, he shared the same love. And in our stage of evolution nowadays, I can tell that only mothers can do that, right? Look into their kids, and no matter how bad or how difficult, how challenging they are, they know and they are able to see that seed of love in their hearts. And they are able to practice this love that Jesus tried to teach us in so many different scenarios and different examples, right? So that's why I see motherhood as an incredible gift, because give us the opportunity to really understand this love and to practice. Because someday, and we know that will happen, no matter how impossible this looks like nowadays when we see our planet and we still see so many crazy things going on, wars and many conflicts that we cannot understand how come this is still possible in 2026. But we know by studying Spiritism that one day we will reach that level of perfection. And our planet will reach that level of a pure planet with pure spirits. When that time comes, this true love that we are able to have a little glimpse of it during motherhood, we will be able to share and expand this love towards everybody, because that's the goal, right? The love and the care that I have towards my kids, the goal is that I'm able to spread this love to everybody, not only my own kids, right? But consider that we are all children of God and we are all learning, and every day is a new opportunity to start and to improve and to get better. I see motherhood as a great opportunity to practice. And although it's a very challenging and very precious mission and very important mission, I also see as that gift. And that is some of the things that we're going to talk about today. So when I chose this topic of uh, share a little bit of the Spiritist view on motherhood, this was not by chance. And obviously, I also realized that this talk would be just the day before Mother's Day. So that's also why I said, oh, I think it's a very important time to reflect on this, since all this weekend, every single family will be thinking about motherhood and ways show gratitude and like towards our mom, right? Because every single person here, no matter what, no matter what is your situation, you are here because you have or you had a mom. Either if your mom is still in this life, or if they are on the spiritual world, or if they are present to you, or if you were abandoned by your mother, you are here because you had a mom that decided to say yes and to keep you for all those 9 months that allow you to be physically present in this life. And this is also an incredible gift from God, right? So, being the life, especially as a spiritist, we know that this is extremely important because this, the material life, being incarnated, is the main school to allow us to evolve in so many ways, right? We need to go through all those trials and challenges that only the material life can give to us. So that's why it's so important to be here. And we can only be here if we had a mom that in the past said yes and allow us to be here. So just by that fact, we need to be forever grateful for our moms. And obviously, we hope and we believe, and um we all aim to have mothers that was caring and loving moms towards us. And if we do have that, is even an extra way to be even more grateful to have those moms because they really did their role in our lives to help us to grow, right? So this is what we're going to reflect today. In Spiritism, we see, and there is so many passages in different, not only in the Gospel according to Spiritism, but also many different books from André Luiz, from Emmanuel, from Manuel Filomeno de Miranda, many books that were psychographed by Chico Xavier or by Divaldo Franco or those many different mediums that show this message about motherhood as eternal commitment. Once you have that blessing to bring a new spirit to the material world, to be incarnated as your kid, as your son, or as your daughter, you are signing up for an eternal commitment with that. Although the material life is temporarily, like our time on earth here is a few years, we know that that connection created then through motherhood, they are eternal. And those two spirits will be linked forever. And they might have new opportunities to be together in life, maybe in different roles, not as mom and as kid anymore, but their love and the strong connection created by motherhood will help them to be connected forever because it's a type of love that is so strong that will be make them always care and about each other. And we see many examples, right? Mothers that from the spiritual world they're trying to help their kids, or maybe when both are discarnated in the spiritual world, we see mothers in many groups of rescue groups in the spiritual world trying to rescue their kids, try to help their kids in many different circumstances. So as I see, as I mentioned, this is the main opportunity that we have in life to get very close to that pure love that Jesus teaches. And I see motherhood also as an opportunity to sow the seeds, right? So we see you receive that mission to bring that children to this world. So you're gonna have the incredible chance to receive any spirit. We know that that spirit comes with lots of background, like you as a mom, right? Uh, but still, we have those moments, especially at the beginning, the first few years of life, where you have the opportunity to mold and to change that seed inside their heart. Spiritism tells us that the first few years, especially the first 7 years, no matter how difficult and challenging is the background that that spirit carry, that initial first stage of life on earth, in the material life, incarnated, that first 7 years is the opportunity that that spirit is more open to be changed, to learn new skills, to learn and develop new virtues that will be crucial and essential to help them to correct or change any vices that they carry. And that is uh, the main reason that they are coming to this life, right? And so, as mothers, they all need to understand this mission. Obviously, they're going to share this mission with the father too. It's not something that is just and only specifically for the mothers. But the mother, in many circumstances, is able to establish a stronger connection to their kids. And we see also in many, many families, the mother is the single one. There is a lot less chance for a mother to abandon a kid than for a father. And we see that every day. I'm sure everybody knows examples, different levels of examples of families, and it's very rare or a lot less frequent to see a house that has a single father. We see many more frequent houses with single moms due to different reasons. That it's not my goal here to go into that. But what I'm trying to say is that although the mission of raising kids ideally should be shared by father and mothers, but we all also understand that connection most of the time is a lot stronger between mother and the kid, and that's why for the mother they carry that responsibility of caring about that seed that was given to her, knowing that once they see that baby has, no matter what they brought to this life, they have seeds of love in their hearts. And it's the main mission and the main responsibility of mothers to be able to look into those seeds and really take care of them, to allow those seeds to flourish. In every life, every new experience on earth is a new opportunity. And we do have, as moms, we do have this precious mission to be able to reach inside those little hearts and being able to change. If we're going to succeed or not, that is going to depend on many factors. And we know that sometimes it's a major trial that some mothers carries, because they bring sometimes spirits that comes with so many difficult and challenging backgrounds that they will not be able to make the miracle and change everything in one life. But they have the opportunity to touch that heart and try to change at least a little bit. Anything that they can do it will be positive at the end, and will be made successful, that mission on that specific circumstances, right? So those are the things that is important for the mothers, like all the women that enter in this motherhood pathway, to understand and to see that role as a gift and as an incredible mission, right? And we all know from Spiritism that many times all the plan, the incarnatory plan that happens, were decided and agreed before coming to the life, right? We see in many books, many descriptions that not all the time, but quite often, all all that we have now in this life were previously decided by us before in the spiritual world. So many often we sign up for that. We said in the spiritual world when they were planning for our incarnation and the incarnation of our kids, we said, yes, please give me that kid, give me that spirit, because I want to go through that challenge, or because I'm prepared enough to be able to help that difficult spirit, or because I made so many mistakes in the past. I need to come with this challenge to help myself to get better as a person too. So there are so many different situations, right? But what is more important is to understand that no matter how challenging is your mission as a mother in this life, we need to understand that that does not come by chance, that we are not being punished by that if we received very challenging, difficult kids in this life. It's all needs to be seen as opportunity to grow, as blessing opportunities for you and for your children. And our job as mothers is to do our best. And how we do our best is by sharing that love and caring that Jesus have taught us through his life. If we do that, we accomplished our mission. If our kids will decide to follow our instructions, to follow our advices or not, this will be up to them. Because no matter how good we are in teaching them, in showing them through love and through caring how important it is to forgive, to understanding, and to care about everyone, at the end is going to be our kids' free will to choose which pathway they're going to go. And that's also why that initial 7 years is so important, because at that time the kid is so little, so young, that physical body and also neurologically speaking, their development is so immature in that present life that allow them to listen more, to absorb more all the concepts that we teach them, and that will stay within them in future. So in hope that when they grow, physically grow as a kid and become adults, that initial seeds that we took care initially, we hope that they flourish and help them to make better decisions. But at the end, it's going to be totally up to them which pathway they're going to choose. And we as mother need to have that understanding to alleviate our suffering and our guilt, because this is so common, right? We see so often in many different families how hard it is to look into our kids and see them making bad choices and feel that we failed in our mission. Yes, we will fail in our mission only if we choose to abandon the kid and not take care of them. If we bring a kid to the world and we just leave them with someone else and don't care about it, then I have to say, yes, this you're gonna fail in your mission as a mother. But otherwise, if we did your best, and if you care, and if you love, following the principles of Jesus, and we try to bring Jesus to your home, to your kids' life, there is no way for you to fail, because we also need to forgive ourselves and look into it with a more compassionate eyes, understanding that at the end is their free will to choose. Exactly like Jesus, right? Look back to thousands of years ago when Jesus came to this life. He did everything he could to teach all those people around him. And look how many mistakes those people still did. And look us now, how many mistakes we still do every day. Even having the chance to learn and to study and to understand a lot deeper about Jesus' teachings, we still make lots of mistakes. And can we say Jesus failed? Not at all. Jesus was very successful, right? The problem is that we do have our free will to make our own choices. And the same apply to mothers and kids, right? It's challenging, and this is part of the trial too for moms, but it's how the process is and how it makes God so justice, right? We wouldn't have justice if the free will was not present. So we need to understand that we carry our own ability to make our choices, and we're going to have consequences according to what we choose. Okay? So that's why for those moms who knows that they did our best, they need to have that peace in mind and in their hearts to understand, yes, I did my best. And so now what I can do is only to pray for my kids and help and ask God to help them continue their pathway, because I did what I could to help them be better in this world, right? And so another challenging that we see many moms going through in this life is when they have to go through what I believe is one of the major trials in the physical life, is losing a kid. Like when a kid go to the spiritual world before the mother, right? We usually say that that is not fair. Like the natural processes, the mothers goes first, and then the kids go later because mothers are older, right? So we have that idea that that's the natural process, and it sounds like the natural process, right? But we also, especially as spiritists, we understand that the same way everybody has different trials, has different incarnatory plans, has different missions in this life, we will see many circumstances when a mother will face this major challenge of losing a kid in the life. And it's so challenging, so difficult. No matter how evolved you are, no matter if you are a spiritist or not, it's probably one of the worst pain that we can face in the life, right? And thankfully, the Spiritism help us so much to bring us that consolation and that understanding to go through that. However, for many, and I'm gonna say an example here from the book Heaven and Hell, uh, about that situation. Many women, unfortunately, has a very difficult time to handle this and to understand when they lose a kid. And we go through that in a second, okay? And some people may ask, "Oh, is that ever too late to be a mom?" Can I say, "Oh no, I'm too old"? I think I I think that's I mean, once I thought, but then the time passed, and now I think it's too late. Yes, if you think biologically in our physical body, eventually it's going to become too late for you to be able to biologically have a children. And that is because obviously our body follow the physiological rules, right? So like as any material thing, it goes through a process. There is a beginning and then it's going to have an end. So the reproductive system, it's going to head to a point that they're going to stop to produce the hormones. That body will not go through ovulation anymore. So it's going to get to a point that it's going to be too late for that body to be able to go through conception and get pregnant. However, when we think about motherhood beyond this biological motherhood, we can say that it's never too late, because I expand this concept and I see motherhood way beyond just you having your biological own children. I see that motherhood is something that everyone can do it, because it's nothing more than showing and sharing that true love towards someone, enable to help them to grow, enable to uh, um, able to forgive them and to see that true seed in that tiny hearts. If you look into that, you can always be a mother, no matter how old you are. no matter which stage of your life is, because you can be a mother for your own kids, but you can be a mother for your nephews, niece, you can be a mother for your neighbor. You can adopt any kid that is really seeking for receiving that true love. And for many circumstances, they were either abandoned or they are orphans, they lost their moms. So, opportunities to practice this feeling and this mission of motherhood. It's always present in many different circumstances. So, I would say, no, I don't think it's never too late. It might be too late to physically uh, uh, go pregnant and have your own kid, but it's never too late to truly be a mom to someone, right? So going through this, I'm gonna bring some literature from our spirits book. We have the idea of motherhood discussed in many different books, as I said. Specifically in the spirits book, question 890, Allan Kardec asked a very interesting question. As we know, Kardec was so smart and he was able to really think about every single concept in life when he prepared the Spirit's book. He really thought about every single aspect of life to try to better understanding what's the purpose of life, why we are here, and better understanding uh, the life between the material world and the spiritual world. So Kardec brought this question, which is the question 890. He asked the spirits if the maternal love, if this is something as an instinct, or if it's a true feeling, like a virtue that somebody carries. So basically, he knew by seeing and observing the nature that there is also some kind of love between a mom and the babies in all different species, in all different animals, right? We can see that. A mom carrying of their offsprings, of their babies, right after. Because we also know that those babies, no matter which species, at least in the very initial the very first few minutes of life or a few days, depends on the species, they will need someone to help them in that first few steps. Otherwise, they will not survive. So that's when the instinct come, and that's what brought Kardec to this interesting question. He was wondering if the maternal love that we see between humans is just a pure instinct or if that is a virtue that we as human beings carries, right? And then the spirit answer is actually both. We have the instinct because we are also animals, like human beings are also animals. So many features that the animal world carries, we also do carry. So, yes, there is a component of instinct when we have a kid to take care of that kid. Uh, in animals, we see that that is mainly related to the material needs. Once those babies does not really need that material support anymore, we see that that connection between mom and babies that cease, right? That connection does not continue. And sometimes those animals, when they meet each other long time after, they don't see each other as a mom and a baby anymore, as a mom and a kid. And this is the main difference between animals and us as human beings. And that's why the spirit answered that we have both. We have this instinct, that kind of a reflex, right, to go and carry about that baby, but we go beyond that, and we do have this as a virtue as well. When we create a connection that does never cease. We see no matter how old are our kids, they don't really depend on us anymore, but we still continue to be connected to them, to care, to look into them, to try to find ways to help them. When we see them suffering or facing a challenge, we jump into it to help, to support. We don't see that with animals, right? So that's why the Spirit says that in the human, it lasts for a lifetime and assumes a character of selfless devotion, raising it to a virtue. It even survives death and follows the child in the afterlife. Therefore, there is more to this love in humans than to that which exists in animals. So, those are the answers that the spirits brought to that question from Kardec. And it makes total sense, right? And it's very interesting to now receive from the spirits that confirmation about this maternal love. In the question 891, Kardec also asked, since maternal love is natural, why mothers hate their children and often from birth? So here, Kardec was going through those specific scenarios that we see and we still see when it's not common at all, but it's present still. We still see cases that there is some rejection from the mother towards the baby. And many times that is since the very beginning. We see that moms that decided to go through abortion because they have that strong feeling of rejection of the baby. And some are able to go through pregnancy, they are able to have those babies, but they, for some reason, they don't carry that love. There's actually some kind of hate inside that relationship, right? So that's why made Kardec ask that. Well, since you are saying that the maternal love is something natural, why we see this? And then the Spirit says the absence of maternal love is sometimes a trial chosen by the spirit of the child, or a form of atonement if the child has been a bad father, mother, or child in a prior life. In any case, a bad mother can only embody a bad spirit who tries to make the child fail in the chosen trial. This violation of natural law does not go unpunished, and the spirit of the child is rewarded for the obstacles it overcomes. So basically, here, the spirit is teaching us, the spirits are teaching us that that love should always be there. If that is not the case, it's because both mom and kid carries some background that allowed them to go through that trial. And as I said in the beginning of this talk, that many times our current life here were previously planned and agreed by us before coming to this life. We see that applying here in this example again, when many times the spirit of that child, they agreed before coming, because either because of their many mistakes they've done in past lives, either let's say I'm a very bad mom in this life, or father, or a very bad kid. So when I discarnate, I go to the spiritual world and I start to repair and study and understand better all my previous mistakes. And I get to the point that I ask, please let me come to the next life in a family or from a mother that will really hate me, or that does really don't want me, because I want to go through this trial in hope to repair all the bad choices that I've done in the past. Okay, so this is one of explanation for this scenario when we see maternal rejection or maternal hate. I don't like to use this word hate, but that's sometimes what we see, right? So this explains, no matter what was the reason, because I used to say that when we see those conflicts in life, we tend to try to find reasons, right? But I think more important than really try to find reason is for us to understand that no matter what is the circumstances that family is going through, that mother and that kid is going through, yes, it looks like a major trial, a major challenge that they are going through. But I, instead of looking for reasons, I actually try to look for solutions and see that as an opportunity for both to repair. It's certainly an opportunity to repair. I don't know what both of them did in the past, but if we look into it as an opportunity to repair, we have a lot more resignation and understanding instead of just questioning why. And by questioning why, we tend to put ourselves more as a victim from the situation than actually seeing that situation as an opportunity for both to grow. I believe that if we look into that way, there's a lot more chances that we are able to overcome that situation in a successful way, especially inside the Spiritist movement. When we learn and we study about Spiritism, we tend to search always to reasons, right? Especially because we know that we all bring and carry a lot of background, a lot of God knows how many lives before. So we tend to use that excuse. Oh no, this is because probably they did that and that in previous life. Yes, maybe that's true. But I think that is not the key of the situation, right? I think we can only be able to step forward and to be able to understand and to learn and to grow with that situation if we stop for a minute and look into it as an opportunity to grow and not try to find the reason of this or that happened in the past. So that's how I see the challenges in motherhood, and that's how I believe each mom that comes to us suffering because their kids did this or that, or a children that come to us complaining about their moms, feeling that their moms does not love them as they should, we, instead of looking for reasons from the past, we should give them the support and the understanding as looking to this as a way for you to be better in future. Always looking to your mom with that gratitude in your heart. And mom, look to your kid as an opportunity for you to sow that seed of love in their heart. On that way, both are doing their roles. And if they go in different pathways or they make bad choices, nobody should feel guilty because they did what they were supposed to do as a mom and as a kid. Okay? So I see our time is going way too fast. I have so much here, but I will try to summarize a few things here. I also suggest you to go in the Gospel according to Spiritism in the chapter 14. It also mentioned a lot of things following these ideas of honor your father and your mother, the importance of the kids to have gratitude towards their parents, and also going again through this idea of motherhood as a gift, as an opportunity to help new spirits to grow, and also going through that mission as a mom that we carry to help kids to succeed in life. And also, as I mentioned earlier about the heaven and hell example, in the book Heaven and Hell, Part 2, Chapter 5, it shows an example of a mom that could not cope with a kid that passed away. Her kid was very sick and was not able to survive. So that mother, she made a very wrong choice of take her own life in hope to rejoin, like in hope to be again, to continue with their kid, because their mom was not able to accept and understand that physical separation. So in her mind, by took her own life, you would allow her to be with her kid again. And unfortunately, it's exactly the opposite, right? But by doing this dramatic, wrong choice, he actually put herself a lot further from from their son, because by committing suicide, we see that there is a very long pathway to repair. and to be able to rejoin that loved one. And this passage is quite interesting because it shows a prayer of that kid, the kid praying for her mom, uh, in hope that the spiritual world, the spirits in the spiritual world, help and support her mom uh, to repair that bad choice. So it's quite interesting case. And I want to finalize here by a very interesting passage from Mother Teresa de Calcutta when this is a very well known, I think many of you probably have read somewhere, because it's a very well known quote from Mother Teresa. She said, "You will teach them to fly, but they will not fly your flight. You will teach them to dream, but they will not dream your dream. You will teach them to live, but they will not live your life. Nevertheless, in every flight, in every life, in every dream, the print of the way you taught them will remain." So I think this summarizes very well the idea that I want to share with you guys today. Because no matter what you did, the way you did, if you did with love, will be printed in your kids' heart, and that will be forever with them. What choices they're gonna make, it's up unto them. They have the free will to that. But if you print the true love in their hearts, that will stay forever with them, and hopefully will in some way affect their ability to make better choices in future. So I hope this message touch your heart as it did to my heart. And I hope and I wish for everybody here to have a wonderful Mother's Day. And also understanding that these teachings that we share today, yes, it's from moms and their biological kids, but the motherhood goes beyond that. Everybody can share this maternal love, and that's what Jesus wanted from us, right? To be able to really share this true love towards everyone. Thank you very much, and I'm open for questions or comments.
Joyce, thank you so much. What a beautiful message you have brought to us today, especially this weekend as we celebrate Mother's Day tomorrow. At least here in the US, I think it's across the globe, right?
I
I
think
don't know.
so because it's here in Canada too. Brazil, I think it's kind of a universal
Universe,
uh,
yes.
day.
It's not the same for father, right? The
That's
Father's Day
right.
is in different days. So you see like who is the most important here among the
Yeah.
parents, right? So before I bring the question, I just wanted to bring some announcements. But thank you so much. Stay tuned. If you have questions, you still have time to post your question here in the chat for Joyce. So I'm pretty sure Joyce is available to
Yeah.
extend and to elaborate whatever question you have regarding to this topic. So we invite you to follow the United States Spirits Federation social media. So if you follow our social media, you're gonna be updated with events and activities that we post every week. Also, we invite you to visit our bookstore online. So this bookstore has a collection of spirits book from the codification. We have books. Majority of the books is in English, but also if you're looking for books in Portuguese now, we have especially the codification, the Spiritist codification available. So please check, go to spiritistbook.us to have more and to browse our Spiritist books online. And if you are interested in family and youth children Spiritist education, so also we have a website that has a lot of information and lessons, so you can utilize this resource in your Spirit Center. So just visit our website, spiritiskids.us, and we also have a app you can download, Be My Hope. This app offers spiritual assistant, uplift content, promoting spiritism, and it's free, so you can download using the App Store or the Google Play. And now we're gonna move on to our questions, but you see a QR code on the screen. Please visit and help us to continue promoting this activity by scanning and donate. So Joyce, let us me bring you back here and let us see. I know that you touch in the most important topics regards to motherhood, right? So we have three questions here. I'm gonna pose the first one from Spiritism USA. How does this concept of spiritual motherhood apply to those who do not have biological children? I think you touch a little bit about
Yeah.
that, right? Can you expand a little bit about those that in this lifetime, for some reason, was not able to be a mother?
Yeah, and again, this is an interesting topic because we have so many women that they suffer a lot because for some reason they want to be a mom and they just can't for many different biological reasons, right? And some of them has a very hard time to go through that and understand that. So and again, I go back to the idea that I shared during my talk that instead of going and try to find the reason why I came with this, why, oh, maybe because in past life you did this, and that, that does not matter. The fact is that you are in this life with this trial. I see as a trial and a challenge, right? That you need to go through. So maybe look into that as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to get better in some way, in some aspect of your life. And by doing that, you look into this and try to find a solution. Okay, I want so badly to be a mom, but I just can't. My body can't. So how can I do that? There's so many ways to be mom in different aspects. You can adopt a child. You can go and do some voluntary work in centers that has orphan kids and spend your time helping those kids that does not for some reason does not have a mom. And I see that as this concept of spiritual motherhood because that connection does not need to be a biological connection. The connection between a mother and a kid means that true love of caring without asking anything back, caring in a selfless way. We can practice, it's hard
Mhm.
because we are all a little bit of selfishness on us. We are not perfect yet, we are far from that. So it's not easy to really love someone in a selfless way. But when we make the choice to try that and to really open your heart for that, you are actually practicing the concept of motherhood. So, and I can guarantee that for those who really want to have a kid and unfortunately are not able to, if they open them for this love, they will find an incredible consolation in their mind, in their soul, in their body, that will probably help them a lot to overcome that feeling of feeling themselves as a victim, as being punished for not being able to have their own kid. So this concept of spiritual motherhood, it's mainly saying that that connection does not need to be a bloody connection. It's like the family ties that we have in life not necessarily needs to be bloody ties, right? The same applies for mom and their kids. So there is so many different ways that you can practice that love in different circumstances, and which way you're going to choose, it's very personal. It really depends on each one to find what will be better for them, but that's basically the meaning of it.
Yes, yes, and that's very important because um, I just before bring another question, as you were explaining, bring the information about how we, especially women that for some reason was not able to have children. I would like to make, a connection here. What about women that has the potential to have kids and decide to, I know that's very controversial to do abortion, for example.
Hmm.
So what we would say to those that has committed abortion or those that are in the process of committing abortion? Because right now we don't know. Maybe someone is connecting here and is thinking about, not have that child. So
Hmm.
what you have to say to them?
Yeah, so basically understanding that the free will is always there. At the end, is everybody is going to be free to make their choice. But it's very important that they understand that every choice has a consequence. Okay, so and that's the basic principle from God justice. So if you are carrying a child and you are pregnant, and for some reason you are considering or thinking about abortion, you need to understand that the consequence behind that. And I will not go through what's the reason that is leading you to make their choice, because we know there is so many reasons that maybe there is no support, maybe it's a situation that maybe was a mistake, that pregnancy came up in a different moment that was not planned, and so on. But you need to understand that what you are going through was actually a gift, and if you understand that gift, you will be able to find how to solve that problem in a better way. You can have that kid and maybe consider someone to adopt your kid, since there are so many mothers around or women around that cannot have their biological kid, for example. So there is, what I'm saying is that there is ways for you to kind of decrease your the, the consequences from your choices by avoiding the abortion, because the abortion, no matter what circumstances, will carry in tragic and dramatic consequences for those who commit to it. And that's the law of life, right? There's no, obviously depends on the reason that brought you, that is going to be balanced accordingly, but still you are interrupting a life that was there, that was present, and that is a gift. We do not have that right to do that. So before going through that choice, think around. There's always a way to find that support, and there's always a way to understand that there is choices around that can be planned and arranged before to go to the dramatic choice of abortion. So that's how I see that. I don't want anyone to feel that they are judged by this. I want them to feel that the consolation and the support, that there is choices that is going to bring them less consequences, like less dramatic consequences. And sometimes I see in many instances that the abortion is a choice in a like a desperate choice, and they don't really think about everything around it. And if you open yourself to think and to process that better, there's more chance that you find better solution for it.
Thank you. Thank you. Another question for the U.S. Spirit Federation. Does the soul of a child always match the vibration, we put it between quotes, or character of the mother? I guess you touched a little bit about that, the agreement that they have before, the reincarnation, right? But
Yeah.
what about?
Usually there is this connection. As anything in life, we understand that the energy around us will be in tune to what we vibrate, what we send to the world. Like when we are depressed, for example, and when we are think a lot of negative thoughts, likely the spirits around us will have that similar connection. The opposite is true when we are very positive, no matter which turmoil or terrible circumstance we are going through. If we are positive, the chances that the spirits around us are more positive and able to help us is a lot better, right? Because there is this connection. So the same thing kind of apply when you are pregnant. That's for sure, and that's usually based on what we carry from previous lives and what we carry in that incarnatory plan that we did before. Okay. However, we need to understand that that is never a rock stone rule. Okay, we can always make that change. Why? Because maybe there was some negative things that happened in the past that connected me to that spirit, but I can always, and I'm pregnant now. I'm the one now free to choose what am I connected to. So although that I sign up to bring that spirit that has many troubles or many problems, and that's probably will kind of attract me to keep that negative vibration. I now have the knowledge to make my free will and change my vibration. By changing my vibration, I may be able to help myself and that spirit that is coming too. Like the changes can start in the very beginning of that connection, right? Because we
Mhm.
know that that connection starts even before the physical pregnancy. And then all the 9 months of pregnancy, there is like a stronger and stronger connection between the mom and the baby. So that's why it's so important when you are pregnant to think on what you see, what you listen, the environment you go, the places where you are, to try to put yourself in a positive vibration environment to help you to manifest that positive vibration, and that directly will affect your baby as well. I see that as the first steps to start that change that's going to help you repair whatever problems you need to, the same way as your baby to repair, and will help that pregnancy to be more successful too.
Mm.
So I think that is very important. And we see in the Spiritism, we see some reports of many instances of pregnancy loss that happens exactly because that negative vibration on both sides is not able to be managed and escalate to a point that is not able to sustain that pregnancy, right? And then we have a
Mm.
miscarriage or a loss, for example. Not that obviously all miscarriage is secondary to that. I don't want people to understand me wrong, but there is instances that that is the case. So moms carry that opportunity too, to understand that they, when they are pregnant, they have that free will. What I might choose for me, and everything that I choose for me is going to be directly connected to my baby as well.
Mm, very good. Yes, it's very good to keep our mind, especially the mother. And I think they also the father, those that is surround the mother,
Absolutely.
right? Because
Absolutely.
we have the influence in the energetical field of the home, for example, right?
Absolutely.
The place that the person is work also can influence any place, right? Because that's
Correct.
a very critical moment in that spirit that is incarnated because they're also getting all everything that is going on through the mother's mind, right? Yeah, one last question before we finalize our live today. And the question is the bond between mother and child created at birth, or does it uh, predate physical life? This question is basically to bring the spirit's view on where is the conception happen, right?
Yeah.
So, do you want to elaborate a little bit? We have few minutes to go, but I wanted to give the opportunity for you to talk about this question.
All right. So yeah, as we discussed a little bit as well, most of the time, most like the I guess probably close to 100% of the time, that connection started before, because most of us, before we come, we go through an incarnatory plan and like program before we are in this physical life. And during that incarnatory plan that happened in the spiritual world is when that connection started. And many times that connection was from previous lives too. Like
Mhm.
it's hard to know, but most of us, we did have a previous connection to our own kid in the previous life. We were either friends or maybe couples or some kind of connection that happened in the past. And that's why we are coming again together to repair a few things or to help each other in certain situation or circumstances. So yes, that connection for sure was created long time ago, and then the connection for mother and kid, it happened in the spirit, start in the spiritual world, and just get stronger as the pregnant happen, and then that, like when the conception happen, is that when that connection becomes even stronger, in physical too, right?
Mm. Yes, yes. Okay, I guess that's it for today. Before I ask you to, do a final prayer, a final conclusion, I just wanted to invite everyone. Thank you so much, Joyce, for this beautiful presentation. For next, let me see here, next week. Who is gonna be here next week? It's gonna be here. Sorry, didn't go well here. Okay, so Claudio Dantas will come May 16 and talk about face and overcome. So, yeah, please join us so you can learn more about what Claudio Dantas will going to bring to us. To finalize, Joyce would like to just give the final remark and help us with a final final prayer.
Okay, thank you again for this opportunity to be here with you all. And I invite you to be with me, closing our eyes and elevating our thoughts to our Father, Mother, God in a gratitude position. It's being grateful for our moms, no matter if they are physically with us still or if they are in the spiritual world. We thank for them to have given us the opportunity of being here in this life, learning and growing, and having this beautiful opportunity to learn even deeply through the Spiritism, better understanding about the meaning of life, loving and caring. And we humbly and kindly ask God to allow us to develop and grow this maternal love in our heart every day, expanding this love not only towards our own kids, but towards everyone around us. Being immersed in this pure love and caring, especially now in this moment where our society face so much challenges, hatred, so much conflicts. It's our love is the key to find and to create a better environment for us and for our kids. Let's get connected to this pure love from Jesus and allowing us to have a beautiful Mother's Day tomorrow and opening our hearts to learn and to grow every day. So be it.
So be it. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a nice and wonderful weekend. And until next Saturday.